Today on the Java Hour, we are going to be reviewing 4 different roasts from a well-respected coffee roaster. The roaster in question is going to be Roadmap Coffee Works. The first coffee we are going to do out of this bunch of the Roadmaps coffee is the Columbia Red Bomb, which apparently has been double fermented. And the flavor notes are listed as strawberry, wine, not just strawberry, mixed berries, and kiwi. According to Roadmap's website, the name may invite some silly puns, but this coffee is serious business. Renancer let the cherries ferment in open tanks for 120 hours before depulping and fermenting for another 50 hours. The coffee is then washed and dried for 1 to 2 weeks. The extended process allows the sweetness from cherry into the bean. So my introduction to Roadmap Coffee Works was actually when they were called something else. These guys are from Virginia, Lexington, Virginia to be specific, and that is actually what they were called originally, was Lexington Coffee Roasters. And my parents went on a trip. My dad's a big history buff, Civil War, Revolutionary War, that type of thing, and they managed to pass this while they were on their trip, and they brought some beans back. And I didn't think too much at first, just from the packaging. It was very minimalistic. I never heard of these guys, but lo and behold, if I'm not mistaken, these were their roaster was like number 12 in the U.S. Clearly by the coffee review stamp, 94 points. It's looking like these guys are top league. It was roasted on the 12th. It's the 21st now, but I waited about 5 to 7 days after the roast date. Almost as good as the coffee itself. Extremely sweet when you smell the beans. It's not like really a mystery as of what it's going to taste like. I'm picking up berries, but also maybe brownies or something like that. Over the course of a few days of trying this, I've picked up a few different things. The first day I especially tasted the strawberry, but it's interesting because today I taste more of maybe what they're describing as kiwi. It kind of tastes like grapes to me, just classic green grapes. Or if you really want to get specific, the cotton candy grapes you can get from Crest and all that. It's got a very bright aftertaste, a little bit of body, not a whole lot. Yeah, the first day I tasted strawberries especially, like a really, really strong strawberry taste. Now I taste kind of like grapes, melony type of stuff, which I'm guessing is what they're describing as kiwi. I mean, it's wonderful for this hotter weather. Even if you're doing like a hot coffee, just the flavor profile is more fitting with spring and summer. It has a little bit higher acidity. I don't think a lot of dark roast drinkers would care for this. I think it may be a little bit too exotic for your Death Wish crowd. This probably makes a magnificent pour over. I've only had this via drip. I'm probably going to try it out in a French press as well at some point. I would probably give this probably an 8.5 out of 10. So it's probably been about 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes after I've brewed this cup. And I just wanted to add that the more and more I sip on this, I do get that strawberry finish like the first time I tried this. Just wanted to add that. Next up, we have one of my personal favorites from this company. And this is the first time I'll be reviewing it on the show. Obviously, it's the first time I'm reviewing it on the show. I don't review anything twice. Understand? We have the Blue Ridge blend. Since I've had this before, the times I've had it, I've always enjoyed this kind of right after a good meal. Have this with dessert or something with some chocolate. The flavor notes are described as cherry, chocolate, and nut. Nothing that's too standoutish. It sounds kind of just like your basic blend of coffee, because most blends they're made to be accessible. They're made to be maybe more on the chocolatey side. They often have a lot of South American beans, but there's just something so special about this particular roast that I really, really, really like. This scored 92 points on the coffee review in 2022, whatever that entails once again. I'm gonna try it out for you guys on camera, first time. Oh my God. Oh! Oh my goodness. That is probably some of the best coffee I've ever had, just ever in general. I mean, I loved it last time. I have no idea if this has anything to do with the fact that I just had some ice cream and it's just, that's still resting on my tongue, and then pairing it with this. The first thing I taste is almost like something a little bit smoky, a little bit crispy, a little bit golden, like maybe like some like pralines or something. I know that's not one of the flavor notes described, but I taste something very nutty at the front, and then the aftertaste I sort of taste like chocolate, obviously. Oh, this is really, really wonderful, and honestly, I would recommend this coffee to anybody. So I feel like this is a very classic cup of coffee. I mean, it's not dark roast, it's not like super bitter or tobacco-y, but I feel like it's in the medium roast territory where it's nothing too experimental. It's stuff that is very hand-picked to please. It's fantastic. I would literally give this a 10 out of 10 because that is one of the best cups of coffee I've ever had on the show. And it just sits on your tongue. It's so nice, super nutty, super chocolatey, so wonderful. Highly recommend this. 10 out of 10. Round 3. The third selection, and I'm gonna have to actually look at the bag and read this. I don't have this memorized at all. It's one of those very specific single origin names. This is the Colombia Andres Cardona. The flavor notes are described as strawberry syrup, chocolate cake, and kefir, or kefir. I'm not sure. It's Kefir. I don't know what that is really. This is a light roast, single origin coffee. Now the special thing about this one is that this was a free sample bag that was given to me since I ordered 3 bags of coffee. The beans are, there's no hint of oil at all. They're very smooth. Even though this is described as more of a fruity coffee in a light roast, this is Colombian, which is what I know from most Colombia coffee is the standard, really, maybe the body's a little bit bitter and it's kind of got chocolate, tobacco maybe, probably nuts, chocolate nuts mainly. But yeah, this smells very different. I would expect this to be like an Ethiopian. The body is really up front. It's kind of rosy, a little bit rosy for the body. And then after it's tapering off, the aftertaste is kind of where I taste the strawberry. You get a little, a small amount of acidity, not a lot. Kind of a similar profile to the Colombia Red Bomb. Yeah, really smooth, kind of silky, but extremely different from any Colombian coffee I've tried. A lot of the time, medium to dark roast especially, a lot of time it's kind of like, what will get put at the front at gas stations, like 100% Colombian, Arabica, but it will, they'll make it taste as bad as they can. It's gonna sound dumb, but very expressive. Like this is a very, it's bold without being just bitter and, just flat out too murky. It's got enough dimensions in terms of flavor that it's got more than just one thing. Oh, I definitely taste the strawberry now. This is maybe a little bit less intense than an Ethiopian light roast or even the Colombia Red Bomb. It definitely has a little bit more subtlety. It sort of reminds me, the strawberry part, it sort of reminds me of those, those little candy strawberry wafers. It kind of reminds me of that and like a strawberry shortcake, the Little Debbie ones, the little jelly strawberry shortcake rolls. Chocolate cake, I don't taste as much chocolate, but maybe that's kind of like the rounder part of it. Well, I would highly recommend this. I may like this as much, if not more, than the Colombia Red Bomb. But, our taste buds and our palates are malleable, so I could think something different next time I try the Columbia Red Bomb. Maybe I'll go back to that, and that will be like, you know, the winner. But as of right now, this is definitely an 8.5 out of 10. All right, last but not least, we have the Root 39. I have had this before. It's a medium roast. This is a blend, and every time I've had this, it's always been really, really good. Probably just as good as the Blue Ridge blend, honestly. But this one, the flavor notes are described as chocolate, walnut, and spice. This is pretty much just all body. There's not a whole lot of nuanced like craziness going on here, kind of like the Columbia Andre or whatever that had a lot of dimensions. This is just kind of a more simple blend, but I'm not saying it's not good. It's pretty fantastic. I am getting that spice, just a little bit on the aftertaste. I mean, it's you know, it's your classic kind of coffee. It's a little bit toasty, but yeah, definitely more and more body, less aftertaste. Yeah, this is a very mellow coffee. I feel like this is a good crowd pleaser. It's probably not as standoutish in terms of flavor notes as the Blue Ridge blend, but this is definitely something that would be good in the winter, which is ironic because it's actually the 4th of July. I would definitely recommend this to your classic coffee drinkers as opposed to the exotic sort of third wavers. I'm definitely thinking probably about a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10 on this one. Some people think the accessibility is just, you know, okay, it's gonna taste like, you know, tobacco and chocolate and that's it, and there's no nuance to it. This still has some of that little aftertaste of the spice, as well as the classic chocolate nuttiness. It's very accessible, but it's still very gourmet. This is what 7-Eleven coffee wishes it was. It's so good. Overall, out of the 4 coffees I've had, I don't have all the bags with me right now. I would probably rank them this way. Number 4 would probably have to be the Root 39. Not that it isn't good, but in terms of all the flavor notes, you know, it's a pretty mild, you know, easy coffee. It's good. It's good to wake up to. It would be great in the winter. But for some reason, I don't think the cup I made was as potent as the last time I had it. So, you know, that's not on Road Maps, that's on me. So I'm afraid it's gonna have to be number 4. Still really good though. I would recommend it to a lot of people. Number 3 is probably gonna have to be, and this may shock some people, the Columbia Red Bomb is really, really good. It's, I understand why it got the points it got, but throughout drinking it, even after the review, I started to taste less strawberry and more grape. Yeah, not a bad thing at all. It's just, you know, the first time I had it was better than the second or third, which is interesting. That usually doesn't happen. So yeah, I'm afraid the Columbia Red Bomb is gonna have to be number 3. Number 2 is gonna be the Blue Ridge blend. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. There's a reason that's one of their best sellers. Even for third wave people, I feel like as a blend, it can please a lot of people. I taste everything in it, from brownies to toasted almonds, and you know, maybe like a little bit of caramel and chocolate, of course. Absolutely fantastic. Number 1 is gonna be the sample bag I got, the Columbia Andres. That stuff was fire. Absolutely fantastic. Very consistent each cup. You know, that had the strawberry syrup, the kefir. I tasted everything from, you know, I tasted the strawberries in it, but I also tasted like, I don't know, like maybe a little bit of cacao, maybe a little bit of toasted almonds once again. Very, very good. I did not think that was going to be number 1 just from a sample bag. Holy cow, it was. That wraps up this review. Road Maps Coffee Works. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a safe 4th of July. Don't blow your fingers off. I'll see you next time.